two-time All-Star, coming off a season in Milwaukee that saw him reach a career high in wins, innings of work, and games started. A career best 2.70 ERA. Neil, he is one of the best in the business.
Yes, he is, and a guy that obviously came from Milwaukee. Pittsburgh has several appearances against him. A lot of guys in the lineup have some experience. Very, very difficult, especially on right-handed pitchers. And for the Pittsburgh Pirates, a lot of additions on offensively from left-handed hitters. As you see, O'Neill Cruz going to lead this game off.
Yeah, let's get to those additions. Time now for our starting lineup for the Bucks, presented by Capital One. Those additions in the starting lineup for Don Kelly today: Brandon Lau, Marcell Ozuna, Ryan O'Hearn will be counted on to aid a lineup last year that finished dead last in OPS, dead last in runs per game. And the Pirates think that they have addressed those deficiencies for 2026.
And I think they have, and especially against opposing right-handed pitchers. The lineup construction just makes more sense than it has in the past. You talked about the power that was added. That, in my opinion, is the most important person on this Pirates roster, O'Neill Cruz. He has a big year. They go as he goes.
Cruz will lead things off, and the Pirates hoping that a 10-year playoff drought is a thing of the past once we get to the end of September of 2026. Defensively for the Mets, the conversation is around two guys at corner infield spots, Al, who have precious little experience at their spots. Bo Bichette, never before playing third base, and Jorge Polanco has but a handful of opportunities as a first baseman in the big leagues.
Yeah, and I know that's been a conversation, and justifiably so. You have great veteran players, right? They've been around a long time. Bo Bichette, that was a sign that they had in January for the Mets to bring him over. He's historically been a shortstop. Moving him to third base, as you say, Matty. And Jorge Polanco, he's been in the league a long time. Minnesota, was up in Seattle. Great hitter, also middle infielder. So I think there's going to be a little growing pains to see how they do defensively.
Freddie Peralta ready to begin his career as a New York Met. O'Neill Cruz digs in to lead us off, and the 2026 season in Queens is underway.
For Peralta, you're going to see a lot of fastball, four-seam changeup combinations with some curveballs mixed in against the lefties, and a little bit of slider and curveball mixed in to the right-handers.
Good four-seamer away from the big swing of O'Neill Cruz, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count to start things here today. Cruz making his third consecutive opening day start. And if we refer to Freddie Peralta as fastball Freddie, and that might not be fair because he throws a great assortment of secondary stuff, he is likely to throw some secondary stuff here in this matchup. O'Neill Cruz batted just 163 against non-fastballs last year, tied for the lowest mark in the game. And a slider has it at 2-2.
Yeah, two different breaking balls from Freddie. Curveball, slider, as you say, Matt. But it's really his pitch is that changeup. You see 21% of the time.
And that's not a ground ball changeup. That's a swing and miss pitch, Al.
Oh, no.
That's a breaking ball right there.
Goes to a full count on Cruz.
One thing for O'Neill Cruz this offseason, he really emphasized, number one, hitting off of left-handed pitchers. He got himself a left-handed batting practice guy for the offseason. He got a lot of at-bats in spring training against left-handers, and he's really putting an emphasis on situations like this, two-strike counts, two-strike approach.
Making Freddie work in his first at-bat of the season. Still 3 balls and 2 strikes to O'Neill Cruz. Lau and Reynolds follow as we're underway, top of the first. The next full count offering, and Cruz serves a little flare out to center field. It's going to drop in for a base hit. So now the speed of O'Neill Cruz will be contended with as the leadoff hitter reaches to start the ball game.
Just kind of soft serves this backdoor breaking ball into center field. He literally half swung at that, but is able to get down. And as you mentioned, Matt, he's probably not going to be staying on first base for long. He's going to try to take an attempt here. 38 stolen bases last year. And talking to Tarek Brock, the first base coach, they think they got a chance to get him at times. Freddie Peralta, that is.
Here is 1-0 one of the new Bucks, Brandon Lau, now, and Peralta will pay attention to O'Neal Cruz immediately. And Neil mentions the 38 bags for Cruz last year gave him a share of the National League lead, tied for first in the circuit with Juan Soto of the Mets. And Lau on a first pitch breaking ball sends a fly ball out to the corner. It's the rookie Carson Bench leaping, and no, that one goes. Brandon Lau on the first pitch he sees as a Pirate has hit a 2-run homer.
Brandon Lau didn't take very long to make his presence known in a Pittsburgh Pirates uniform. He hits this ball, and it looks like some people didn't know where this ball went, Matt. And once you know it, it just keeps carrying down that right field line and just sneaks out.
I don't know about you guys. I know he's strong, right? Last year with Tampa Bay, 31 home runs. Yes, he barreled it. Wow.
It didn't take long for the Pirates to go into their home run celebration, and that's an actual steel mill workers welding helmet. A gentleman by the name of Dave Stevenson, who spent 22 years working in the Pittsburgh steel mills, has his helmet used as the Pirates' celebratory headpiece. This one just scraped over the right field wall. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Hey, there's something about season openers for Freddie Peralta. Last year he opened the season in the Bronx as a Brewer and allowed a leadoff homer to Austin Wells. Second at bat of the year this season, and a 2-run shot for Brandon Lau. Already Pirates fans are eager to see that number change from their home run output last season. And Brian Reynolds chums at a breaking ball. One gone.
Well, I think when you're talking about the 5,000-foot view of this Pirates roster, especially on the offensive side of things, guys, they averaged 3.6 runs a game last year. When they scored 4 or more runs in their games last year, they were 46-21 and played 61-run games last year. So think about that recipe with the addition of the offensive players they have. Marcell Ozuna, that being one of those guys. If they can take that up to 4.3, 4.4 a game, you're looking at potentially a lot of wins over 80 this year.
Another new Pirate, the 3-time All-Star Marcell Ozuna, behind 0-2.
Which is why people across baseball looking at this, Marcell Ozuna being one of the other additions, along with what we just saw with Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn's on deck. Their offense was that bad. We have Paul Skeens is going to toe the hill here in the bottom of this inning, and he was 10-10 with an ERA under 2. And it not to just drill down on the fact that they just didn't score runs last year in last in baseball with home runs and runs scored.
So a 2-run homer and then 2 straight strikeouts. Each at bat finished on a curveball, and a swing and a miss by new Pirate Ryan O'Hearn. An All-Star last year for the first time in his career. Good combined numbers between the Orioles and Padres. The meat of those numbers happening in Baltimore. Heater misses the corner, and it's 1-1. Yeah, Paul Skeens has to be delighted with 2 early runs. To your guys' point earlier, 32 starts last year for Skeens, and he was the beneficiary of 4 or more runs in only 9 of those outings. Halfway to that total 2 at-bats into the day.
Yeah, even as good as Paul Skeens is, that's pretty hard to win baseball games. You're not getting enough crooked numbers up on the scoreboard.
Well, and you wonder, and you could speak to this, Al, what does that do to your psyche when you're out on the mound and you feel like you have to be perfect and you have a 2-1 lead in the 5th inning?
You just said it.
Yeah.
3 straight strikeouts, but the 2-run homer gets the visitors on the board first on opening day. Some support early for Paul Skeens. 2-0 Buccos. Support for 23-year-old Pirates ace, 2-time All-Star Paul Skeens.
Yeah, you see the numbers, 10-10, but that doesn't tell the story. He's a reigning National League Cy Young Award winner. Exceptional stuff. We'll see triple digits. 7 different pitches, guys, for a guy who could hit 100 miles an hour.
He forgot to add plus.
Plus, right.
Plus pitches.
Francisco Lindor leads things off for New York. We'll get to the rest of the Mets starting lineup in a moment. 1-0 from Schemes. Drifts on him. 2 balls and no strikes. Let's do it right now. Time for the Mets starting lineup presented by Capital One. Soto and Bichette follow Lindor. Plenty of pop 4 through 6 with new Mets Polanco and Robert. Beatty, Semien, Benj, and Alvarez lead things off for the Mets. Quickly a 3-ball no strike count to Francisco Lindor. 5-time All-Star, making a lot of news in the offseason after a broken hamate bone. Surgery repaired that, and he's good to go for opening day. And it's 3 balls and a strike.
I know Carlos Mendoza wouldn't say this, but you're hoping, I know he's hoping that Francisco Lindor, as this ball looks like it's just off the plate. Oh, wow.
Watching Lindor in the dugout, I know he wanted to tap his head. With 3-0 in the first inning. Bad idea.
And it's a full count now. ABS challenge in place for 2026. Each team gets 2 challenges of balls and strikes calls. They have to come from a pitcher, catcher, or batter. You've got 2 seconds to make that decision. If you are successful in your challenge, you get to keep it. If not, 1 leaves your inventory. So from 3-0 to a full count.
Well, and as I was saying earlier, I know Carlos Mendoza won't say it, but he's hoping that Francisco Lindor can get off. I believe he's hoping that he can get off to a good start. He's been slow out of the gates the last couple years. And for Paul Skeens right here, one count to take note of is this 3-2 count. It's one count that we've seen the slug go up.
Ball 4 to Lindor. Leadoff hitter reaches in the bottom half of the first.
What do you got, Neil? Hitter.
Yeah. No, he didn't go right there.
Yeah, it's good.
He didn't go right there.
You guys are going to be on opposite sides of that all day, I suspect. Man on in front of 4-time All-Star Juan Soto. And so far, a guy with a 7-pitch mix has only shown us 2. A lot of heaters to start the game so far. There's one for a strike to Soto.
Well, as I was mentioning, there's not many counts that Skeens gets, roughed up on too much, but he gets to 3-2. He does not like to walk guys. A very rare walk right there, but tends to come in the zone a little bit more. 60+% fastball in those counts. You wonder if he's going to change that repertoire as the year goes along.
Saw the numbers on Soto a moment ago. A massive 2025 season despite a really slow April and May. He finished just 2 stolen bases shy of a 40-40 season.
Yeah, and you think, Matty, those first 55 games, he got a 224, and then the last 105, 285. He had 35 home runs as the season went on, but 8 in those first 55. Settle in, I know he came from the Bronx and Yankee Stadium, a new team here in Queens.
Still ball and 2 strikes. Mets had a lot of success as a running team last year. Not that Lindor's going here with a big green light, but last season the Mets had the best team stolen base success in the league. And Soto fights a pitch off his hands, dumps it into right center field. Lindor on his way to third. Throw there is not in time. And here come the Mets with nobody out in their half of the first.
Super aggressive base running right there, right in the face of O'Neill Cruz from Francisco Lindor. Cruz makes a strong throw right here. Has to just go a little bit too far to that right to make it a little more competitive. Let's see and make sure that he was safe. Looks like it.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, they're not. Are they challenging? No.
First and third with nobody out. And what an opportunity for Bo Bichette to do a little damage here in his first plate appearance as a Met. Signed a 3-year free agent deal in the offseason. Mets were so pleased to have plucked him away from other suitors, notably the Philadelphia Phillies. 99-mile-an-hour sinker has Skeens in front 0-1. It's an interesting contract, essentially a series of one-year deals. Options for him to bolt after each year in that 3-year pact.
With buyout. Yeah, I mean it's pretty amazing.
Very much an old school type of player, right? High batting average, especially last year, 311. Gets on base. Drove a 90+ runs last year.
Couple of fastballs has Bichette behind 0-2.
And this was a spot where Paul Skeens was very effective last year, especially against these righties in double play situations. He does a good job of trying to get you to hit that something on the inner half or a breaking ball going away from you.
Fouled off the hands. Still 0-2 to him. You saw the numbers for Bichette with runners in scoring position last year. Going a little deeper on that. So we take a look at the jam shot again. 30 opportunities to drive in a runner from third with less than 2 out. And he converted in 21 of those in his final season in Toronto. Bichette with a fly ball the other way for O'Hearn. Makes the catch in the corner. Lindor is going to tag up. Mets get one of them back immediately. And welcome to New York, Bo Bichette with an RBI sac fly in his first plate appearance as a Met.
Well, and that approach right there is exactly why Bo Bichette had so much success last year in these situations. You don't try to do too much in these situations. You try to use the big part of the field. You try to get something lifted if you can, especially with nobody out. And with 1 out, with runners on the corners, you want to stay away from that double play ball. That's how you draw it up right there to score a run in the early part of the game. You'll take that.
So 1 in, 1 out, 1 on, and now it's Jorge Polanco, the new Mets switch hitting first baseman today. After 10 years in Minnesota, a couple of years in Seattle, signed a 2-year off-season deal to join the New York Mets. Soto with an aggressive lead off first. Skeens noticing that will check in.
You know, just looking at these two batters, Bichette, and I couldn't agree with you more. That's a change up there, puts the ball in play. How often do we see guys still with their A swing? He needed it, got a sac fly. But Polanco, I'll tell you, you talk about a bat to ball guy who doesn't strike out and puts the ball in play. Both of these pickups have been great for the Mets.
Polanco had such a good run in the postseason last year. Added to his free agent resume, made him a pretty desirable commodity. He was suited by a couple of teams in the offseason. Big shoes to fill, though, with Pete Alonso going to Baltimore, no doubt. Little tapper, that's going to be trouble. Skeens bare hands, he's got to eat it. Everybody's safe.
I mean, again, it's exactly kind of, you know, the Bichette at bat, and now here you see Polanco being tough. Obviously, Paul Skeens, exceptional stuff. Cy Young Award winner last year. He didn't try to do much with that. Just stayed back enough to put the ball in play. And in this case, he hit it in the perfect spot and gets a knock.
Couldn't have thrown that ball in a better spot, could he?
Not exactly a lot of loud contact against him, but it spells some trouble here with a run in and 2 on for Luis Robert Jr. making his Mets debut this afternoon. 28-year-old former Chicago White Sox, 14 homers last year, but he's a few years removed from a 38 home run campaign on the South Side. 1-1.
And I think the biggest question with Luis Robert Jr. is can he stay healthy over the course of the year, and how will Carlos Mendoza use him? How often will he try to get him off his feet? He's had a lot of soft tissue injuries over the course of his career. This guy is a lightning rod and can really do some damage when healthy and on the field.
9-iron pop-up that's going to get into the stands.
How about 44 miles an hour off the bat, man?
What's that?
Yeah, I like that.
Really knocked the snot out of that ball.
Well, you can even go back to Soto. Soto, he just dunked it into right center.
Ball and 2 strikes on the guy they used to call Lou Bob on the south side. He sprays that one foul. So Paul Skeens having to work a little harder than most of us envisioned to begin the day. 23 pitches. He's only got 1 out on the board and trying to pitch out of any further trouble. The next one, too. Well, these deep counts matter here early in the start. Don Kelly telling all of us before the game, don't expect to see Paul Skeens out there with 100+ pitches today.
Yeah, the same on the other side, right? I mean, both of these guys went out of their way when they were talking about their offenses to make sure they mentioned that they had a lot of grinders. They felt like they had a lot of guys that gave professional at bats, and this is exactly what you're talking about. Fouling off 2 strike pitches. Bo Bichette, just serving one out there to right field to score a run, not trying to go up there and hit balls out of the ballpark. Pass it to the next guy, have good at bats, and see what happens over the course of 9 innings.
Another one fouled away. Eighth pitch of the at-bat misses to make it 2-2. The last time we saw Paul Skeens on a mound was in the World Baseball Classic pitching against the Dominican Republic in Miami. Threw 71 pitches. And Don Kelly telling us, those aren't an ordinary 71 pitches. That's high-intensity stuff in front of a big house. Man, Lou Bob just won't go away.
No, if this is the approach that the Mets are going to have, and I know we're only not even through the first inning, but this is impressive, guys. Soto's at bat, of course. Lindor walks, and you've got at least what I'm visualizing here, Neil, is guys that are hitting the ball where it's thrown, and also mindset to put the ball in play. Spoiling some good pitches here, Luis Robert.
Full count. So it will be a 10-pitch at-bat to Luis Robert Jr.
And again, going back, even though it's early, to that 3-2 count. I saw Paul walk Francisco Lindor in that 3-2 count. This is a big situation. Let's see if he attacks his zone or sees if he can get Chase.
Payoff pitch. Lost him on ball 4. 2 walks, 2 full counts among the first 5 batters that Skeens has faced, and I don't know that we saw this at any point over 32 starts last year from Skeens.
Not with a guy at 32 starts, an ERA under 2. Look, this is impressive of what we just saw through 5 hitters, right, for the Mets.
We have Adam Ottavino at field level today. Adam, what are you seeing out of Paul Skeens so far?
He's just a little off his precision right now. He's been in the zone enough to get ahead of the count the last couple batters, but he hasn't been able to put them away. Also looks like he's not trusting his breaking ball the same as we've seen in the past. I actually noticed that going back to the WBC a little bit. He's been mostly fastball and changeup. So he doesn't have all those get-out-of-jail-free cards right now.
Boy, how many of us had the bullpen getting hot behind Paul Skeens in the bottom of the first on our bingo cards today? Not I.
Yeah, no. Well, you're always 1 pitch away from getting out of it. In this case, a double play ball.
So that'll bring up Brett Beatty. Saw plenty of work in spring at multiple positions for the Mets, starting at DH on opening day. Signature changeup swung on and missed.
I like what Adam said there, because there's a depth issue with vertical, right? To have some depth going down. A lot of his pitches are side to side.
Beatty to center field. Cruz started in, and he gets burned. It's over him. Send him. All 3 will score.
Oh, this is so unfortunate right here. O'Neal Cruz, we got a great vantage point up here. It looked like he just got stuck. We're not sure in this ballpark when you're playing in here. You always want to watch the wind and the flags that are above center field, or above home plate, I should say. And I think that he got a bad read, got stuck, and I think the wind helped push this ball even more over his head.
A 3-run triple for Brett Beatty. The Bucks bring the infield in, 4-2 Mets. And the first pitch to Marcus Semien to start his New York career. Oh, and Cruz busts that one! A nightmarish start for O'Neal Cruz on opening day. Oh, no. All the work in the spring, the renewed emphasis on defense. There was so much optimism for O'Neal Cruz, and he lost that one in the sun.
Well, absolutely. He got there, but then obviously right here he doesn't know where it is. Here's a shortstop that they moved to center field. Obviously, this is absolutely an inning he would love to forget. But hey, Mets capitalize on it. They're up 5-2.
And now it's the rookie right fielder Carson Bench making his major league debut in a circumstance that none of us saw coming. A 5-run bottom of the first against two-time All-Star Paul Skeens. And Bench behind 0-2.
Kind of interesting to note, as you see O'Neal Cruz right there, no sunglasses on out there. I know some guys really don't care to wear them all that often, but a day game like this, you know where that sun's going to be.
And
better off safe than sorry.
Kind of blows Bench away on 3 pitches. You think that'll change? Is he a guy that doesn't like the sunglasses, or did he just not take them out there today?
No, you typically don't see him wearing sunglasses out in the outfield, but I have seen him at times. I am surprised not to see it, as we see the flags right here too. I was taught when I came to play here at Citi Field, you always look at the flags that were above home plate as opposed to the other ones, because there's times that the wind will come in here and jut out either to right center or left center.
Yeah, it's definitely blowing toward left center field.
So the 9th batter to bat in this bottom of the first inning is the catcher Francisco Alvarez. And that one hits him. Nothing going right for the Bucks in the bottom of the first.
Wow. This is an ugly inning for Pittsburgh. Well, two-seamer running inside. Alvarez doesn't do a whole lot to try to get out of the way.
I say this a little tongue-in-cheek, but I wonder if Paul Skeens has ever faced the same guy in the same inning as in his entire life.
Well, I got a partial answer to that. He's never had a 5-run inning and didn't have one last year, and that's going to be it. Wow. Don Kelly has seen enough, and Paul Skeens will be done after 37 pitches and 2/3 of an inning on opening day.
Wow. This is unbelievable.
A shocking result early on opening day in New York. Pittsburgh to the bullpen, and a surprising result is the understatement of the day on opening day. Paul Skeens lasting only 37 pitches into his opening day start, 2 outs, and he has turned it over to Yohan Ramirez in the bottom of the first inning. Francisco Lindor batting. Oh, 2 runners aboard. That one gets away from Henry Davis. Everybody advances. And I don't know that it's Bradenton cobwebs or what, but the Pirates have not been sharp to start the day.
Yeah, I think that's putting it mildly. It looks like he's got his foot down early, and he almost tripped. Obviously, with runners on base, he had to throw the baseball.
So the wild pitch puts runners at second and third. Lindor began this inning with a leadoff walk. He would score in front of the Bichette sac fly, and then much damage later. Skeens is gone after 2/3 of an inning. Another one almost got past Davis.
High ground ball rate from Yohan Ramirez. Very good against left-handed pitchers. You see Paul Skeens right there. Only one home run given up last year, 2025.
2 balls and no strike to Lindor. I feel like you can almost forecast the headlines in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and other places with Skeens not lasting past an inning and the WBC workload coming out. It's going to be a part of the dialogue here over the next few days in Pittsburgh. 2-1 to Lindor. Fly ball to shallow left. Reynolds is there for it to put a merciful tourniquet to a big bottom of the first for the home side. Home runs this season. Here's a live look at FanDuel's home run odds for today's game. Get a plus 850 on Spencer Horwitz. I don't know what the FanDuel pre-flop odds were on a homer from Brandon Lau in his first AB as a Buck. But that's kind of a side note at this point because the Mets have countered with 5, knocking Paul Skeens out of the game. Freddie Peralta back to work after 3 straight strikeouts followed the Lau homer. He gets Jared Triolo, Spencer Horwitz, and Nick Gonzalez in the Pittsburgh second. I'm still trying to process what happened to Paul Skeens.
There's a first time for everything, right?
I guess.
Well, look, guys. He has to lead off walk. Soto hits an 83-mile-an-hour off the bat, which was perfectly placed right center. I'm not making excuses here, but I'm just saying it wasn't like he got tattooed.
2 misplays in center field.
2 misplays in center field. It's the right move by Don Kelly. You have 37 pitches in the first inning. The rule of thumb is you start getting into the mid-20s, you worry about pitch count and injury and all that.
Adam Ottavino, from a reliever's standpoint, how do you process that bottom of the first?
It's a bit of a nightmare if you're standing out there because we expected him to go at least 4, 5, 6 innings in this one, and then a couple guys clean it up. Now you have to cover 8 innings. But I'm just sitting here a little shell-shocked. That was a crazy turn of events. I don't think he's ever had an inning from hell quite like that before.
Adam, there's times that some of the relievers aren't even in the bullpen in the first inning. Is that right?
Yeah, most of my career, I'd just be getting out of the cold tub right now, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a coffee. So, yeah, a little bit of a 3-alarm fire going on over there.
Hey, Adam, you're close enough when O'Neill Cruz came in. Obviously, he's got to feel awful, but was there any interaction or conversation?
Yeah, a couple pats on the butt. Nothing too serious, though. They let him be.
Strike 1 to Spencer Horwitz. It's going to be discussed as well. I mean, O'Neill Cruz is a very important player this year for the Pirates. You guys said it yourselves. And, Neil, you said he might be the most important player on the roster this season to try to break that 10-year playoff drought. Nice backhanded play by the 2-time Gold Glover Marcus Semien. You need to keep his head right, in other words. So, yeah, those were 2 boots.
You gotta move on. You have to move on. You gotta hope that, I have to assume that both balls were affected by the sun and or the wind. I did notice with the first ball that he came in first as opposed to went back, so there were some issues there. But we did see him improve over the course of the season. The transition for him has just not been as clean as what people have expected it to be. But make no mistake, he's an unbelievably talented guy, the fastest guy on the team, hits the ball the farthest. He can do everything. How do you get that on a regular basis, though? How do you get that consistency? That's the hardest thing to do at this level offensively.
Here we go.
Third baseman Nick Gonzalez behind 0-2. Gonzalez coming off a great spring. The number. That's going to stick. Alvarez bare hands and gets him. A fine play by Francisco Alvarez. A 1-2-3 second for Freddie Peralta with some help. 5-2 Mets, and moments ago Ahmed caught up with Pirates manager Don Kelly.
All right, Don, shortest outing of Paul Skeens' career. Are you as shocked as we are right now?
Yeah, really, really tough inning there for us. You know, it was some unfortunate plays and, you know, some walks, some control, but, you know, we got to keep battling here.
What, if anything, did you tell him?
Paul, you know, it was all pitch count related, really, for him. Don't want to put him in harm's way, getting up in the 40 pitch count mark. If we get into a foul ball battle there, don't want to push him into the mid-40s.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, what he's saying is, normally a typical inning is about 15 pitches. You start getting guys up into the 30s, it's just it's a no-go zone for pitchers. It's certainly
Dribbler to first air ball, and they get Soto on a roller to start.
And then we add to it, right? The WBC work and all of that. But I do know that there's organizations for minor league pitching prospects, when they get to the 30 number, they take them out of the game. So this isn't like a dangerous thing for Paul Skeens, but it was the right move by Don Kelly. They got a long season, and it was an ugly inning.
A quick out for Ramirez, and that'll bring up Bo Bichette for a second time. A sac fly and an RBI in his first official at-bat as a Met in the first inning. Well, Al, you talk about this a little bit. You pitched in the big leagues for almost 20 years. Certainly you had a clunker every once in a while. Coming back from that, did you ever have a stinker like that on opening day? I mean,
no,
timing is odd.
And I'll be look, guys. I played for the Mets. I played for 4 different teams. There's no like pulling either way. But he's a special talent right there. Unbelievable. His work ethic, his routine, his stuff. It's unprecedented. It really is. And I don't give a whole lot of praise. I'm pretty honest about my assessment. But that's shocking. And also, as you just you framed it, Matty, it's, you know, opening day, the excitement here at Citi Field, you know, what that young man has done in the past, only 2 years, Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, National League Cy Young Award winner last year. Yeah, it's shocking.
I'll tell you what I love personally from a fan standpoint, and Neil, you know him better than Al and I do. He's sitting right there. He didn't go up the tunnel. He's not showered. He's not hiding in the club. He's going to watch the rest of the game.
That's not surprising to me. I mean, there's nobody that cares more about this team than Paul Skeens. He works harder than anybody that's down there. He's going to assess today in a very positive way somehow, and he will turn this thing around. And the next time he gets out, probably in Cincinnati, I can almost guarantee you it will be rectified. But you know, we don't know if there was something mechanically a little bit off, or what the case may be, but he is going to be supporting this team for the rest of this game. He doesn't care about anything else right now, but trying to creep back into this game.
2 quick outs now for Jorge Polanco.
Stuff happens, right, guys? It's baseball. You throw one down the middle as a pitcher, and a guy hits a rocket out at somebody. Then you got a swinging bunt that rolls down the third base line at Polanco. Like, it's baseball. You control what you can control as a pitcher. You let the ball go. You've got guys behind you. You hope they hit it at somebody, and you make pitches. I don't think there was anything wrong with him. The stuff was every bit as good. That was a problem there. Real Cruz, that was a rough inning, to put it mildly, for him.
Counts 2 balls and no strikes on Jorge Polanco. Singled and scored in the 5-run first. Well, I'll tell you another thing that's in play here is the Mets opening day magic. Al, you know about it. It's a thing. The Mets win on opening day. Best big league record on opening day. A .631 winning percentage in lid lifters. Ball 4 to Polanco.
That is true, right? I knew when I was here, they you know, they talked about it. I guess it's still going.
It's a thing.
All right.
41-23 all time on opening day. They have lost their last 2. But there's something about this franchise in opening day magic. Already the 3rd walk by Pirates pitching today. First 2 had scored. And now Luis Robert Jr. for a second time. He drew one of the walks and scored in the first.
Even right there, Neil. Luis Robert Jr., unbelievable physical talent. And I know a couple years ago, 30+ home runs. But, you know, he got a new pitcher, scouting report, etc. And he takes a pitch that was borderline down to see pitches.
Yep. And I always thought that was really important in the early portion of a game and in the early portion of the year was how many pitches can I see, within reason to the game situation, runners in scoring position, all those things. I wanted to see, in my first at bat, if a guy had 4 pitches and I saw 3 of them, even if I got out, I saw that as a success. And, obviously situations change from time to time. But when we talked to Carlos Mendoza, he talked about that. He talked about the professional at-bats that we're going to see from this collective group of the Mets, right? And we're seeing it right off the bat in the first inning.
Robert with a tapper to shortstop. Criollo over to first in time to get him. And the side is retired without incident. Adobe fan experience. It starts with Adobe, official partner of Major League Baseball. And by T-Mobile. T-Mobile members get free MLB.TV. Redeem at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Some 1987 opening day highlights. Mets get their rings. A 5-2 lead for New York on opening day of 2026. Shattered bat roller that goes foul off the bat of Henry Davis, leading things off in the Bucks half of inning number 3. Davis, then top of the order, Cruz and Lau. And speaking of Mets season openers, the 5-run first today is the first time that the Mets have ever scored 3 or more runs in the first inning of a season opener.
Makes sense, right? You're facing the opposing ace, and usually they're
yeah, you're right.
Right? I mean, you're not facing the 5th starter, some call-up guys. They're usually the premium ace arms.
Not much made sense through the first 6 outs of this game, I can tell you that.
Some Mets minutia history.
The magic, you said.
First time scoring more than 3 runs in the first inning of a season opener. To make sure we're right. It's 1-1 to Davis. He was buckling that time. 2-1.
When do we see the first ABS, Neil? Today.
It is very interesting. It's a super polarizing topic of discussion because how are teams going to handle whether they are super aggressive with it? Is it going to be more related to the situation, a count? I think time will tell how this is going to evolve, but I think it's going to have to be 2-3 weeks of games.
How about the play here, Neil? New third baseman, nice short hop pick, wobbly throw. New first baseman with a very agile move.
Get that first one out of the way. It's not always easiest, and that was a tough little play right there. He's used to the body control stuff, being on the left side of the infield for a long period of time. But make no mistake, it's going to be a challenge to really get comfortable at that spot, because you got the fielding portion of it, and then you have the throwing portion of it. And those balls, especially to your left and right, especially in that 6-hole, it's easy to get out of whack, especially when you're coming from shortstop, where that ball in the 6-hole, you already got your shoulders set toward first base. You have to really work hard to get your body turned with a lot of balls at third base.
0-2 the count to O'Neal Cruz, who would love to begin the redemption process here with his second plate appearance of the afternoon. Yes, he singled and scored a run in front of Lau's first inning homer, but the 2 misplays were costly and a part of the 5-2 deficit narrative. Ball and 2 strikes. I can't imagine a lonelier feeling than 2 misplays on back-to-back at-bats behind your staff ace on opening day.
In the first inning.
Yeah. 2-2.
Oh no, you go.
And he checked it to fill the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm putting a good at bat together right here as you see the check swing. It can be easy sometimes, guys, to try to want to get that run back or get multiple runs back after you make a bad defensive play. O'Neal Cruz got a base hit in that first inning, and he's putting together a good professional at bat right here.
Guy that homered due up next. O'Neal Cruz has gone to a full count in each of his plate appearances against Freddie Peralta here so far. Peralta's mowed down 7 in a row since that Lau homer. And he loses O'Neal Cruz.
Oh, we got it.
We got a cap. We got a cap touch. A challenge.
Challenging the call of a ball.
And it came from Peralta.
Got it. Hey! Every manager we've talked to in spring training and to begin the season is reluctant to give their pitchers the green light to challenge calls. But Freddie knew he had the zone there. The big one, man.
You know, and I know why managers don't want the pitchers to do it. First of all, it's emotional, but if you watch his delivery, his head stays on it enough. And if you look where Alvarez was setting up, I said it came from Peralta, but also Alvarez went right to it. It looked like he reached across the plate, but because he was setting up away, it got obviously enough of the plate. We just saw it.
And that's a pitch in the past. I mean, that would never get called, right?
I mean, that's when you use it, right? When it's a difference between ball 4 and a punch out. Lau with another high drive to right field. Bench back, turns his back to the infield, and Brandon Lau's doing nothing but hit homers as a Pirate.
Another moonshot. The first one in inning number 1, 103 off the bat, sky high. I think this was probably arguably higher than that one. This one did not want to come down. Brandon Lau, welcome to Pittsburgh.
He's got pop, guys. I know he had, 31 home runs last year, but I don't know whether it's just a smooth swing with barrel all through it.
It's crazy, Al. Watching him work in the cage and watching him work on batting practice as you see the helmet, it doesn't make sense to you. It's not the body type that you would expect of somebody that hit 30-plus home runs. He's not a big guy. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
He was able to get leverage on it. He probably hit this 100-plus miles an hour as well as he did the one in the first inning. He just understands how to get leverage, which is so impressive for a guy his size.
Look, Ben Ogilvy hit 40 homers with the Brewers back in the 70s, and he was about 165 pounds soaking wet. It can be done.
Yeah.
Brian Reynolds with a gapper into left center field. He'll be satisfied with a single. So a homer and a 2-out base hit, and the Pirates are in business against Peralta here in the 3rd.
Oh, that's a nice piece of hitting right there, guys. I mean, watch him stay inside this baseball. Almost shoots it toward that left center field gap to get to the wall. Gets cut off by Juan Soto. Brian Reynolds, important piece to the puzzle that is the Pirates offense.
So now Marcell Ozuna. He represents the tying run here early on. 5-3 New York. And a strike starts Ozuna. He was a strikeout victim in the first. Guy who does not swing the bat very often. His swing percentage last year of under 40%, 7th lowest in baseball. He picks his spots, has a real good idea of the zone. Lays off that when it's 1-1. Two homers for Brandon Lau in his first 2 at-bats as a Pirate. That's out to right center field. Robert got a brilliant jump and makes a fine catch to prevent any further damage. Brandon Lau's second of the afternoon, however, has made it a 2-run game. Highlights and push notifications just for you. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. Back with Al Leiter and Neil Walker, Matt Vasgersian in New York. Brandon Lau, one of the stars through the first 3 innings of this game. Derek Lee had a 2-homer game in his Pirates debut back in 2011. All these Neil Walker teammates are getting love here.
I was there for that one.
You were also there for the last time a Bucco hit 2 homers on opening day. Your former mate Garrett Jones did it in 2010.
That's right.
So a 5-3 lead for the Mets as they bat in the bottom half of inning number 3. And Brett Beatty turns on one to foul it off. 0-2 to Beatty leading things off. Followed by Semien and Benj.
Well, you got to assume Don Kelly and the Pirates are hoping that Yohan Ramirez can get at least 7 outs. He did a nice job coming in there and softening that tough first inning. Limited the damage there. Second inning, I know they're hoping he can get 3 more outs and pass this thing to another guy down in that bullpen.
If you're just tuning in, Paul Skeens was removed after 2/3 of an inning. There was no injury concern, but the wheels kind of came off on a 5-run first. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Brett Beatty. DHing today on opening day. As we mentioned earlier, took a lot of reps at first base and in the outfield in the spring. Still the ball and 2 strikes.
I really like Brett Beatty. 18 home runs last year. Now trying to find a way to get him in the game. Obviously, it'd be a DH first or outfield. I see him growing a lot maturity-wise over the last couple of years.
Well, he has the hit tool, as you mentioned. It's just a matter of, how do they want to use him? I mean, not exactly a quote-unquote DH-only type of guy, obviously, but can really be an X factor, hitting 6th today.
So many changes to both sides from last year's opening day lineup. And for the Mets, Beatty, of course, an incumbent, a returnee. But as you mentioned, Neil, probably used a little differently this year with additions around him. Guys like Semien in particular. Bichette. Very different infield for the Mets in 2026. Bono's infield. Be fine at third base.
Oh no.
And a full count now to Brett Beatty, leading things off in the 3rd. The question is always asked, what's sharper coming out of spring training? Which side of the scorecard is sharper, the pitching side or the hitting side?
Pitching.
I would agree with that.
With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary trips. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Well, 8 runs on 8 hits so far. We're not even out of the 3rd. I don't know that I would agree with you in terms of our little game here today so far. But I know what you're saying. Here's Marcus Semien now for his 2nd time.
We also probably didn't think it was going to be 70 degrees here today.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, look, guys, with the way they train to get ready for spring training, pitchers, it used to be, when I first got up to the big leagues with the Yankees, Whitey Ford, I asked him, he used to come to camp, but Billy Martin was my manager. And I said, Whitey, what did you do to prepare?
Oh, hot shot. Knocked Ramirez on the glove hand, and he throws it away at first. Semien on his way to 2nd.
Well, that's always scary as a pitcher, depending upon your delivery and follow through. But look, to me, Ramirez was squared up at home. He saw it. It comes out quickly. You're only 54 feet away with your stride and extension. He does have a wild finish. Hit him on the heel of the glove. I thought he had a shot here, but Semien busted and then just threw it away. He did have a shot, actually. If he'd made a good throw to first, he'd been out. So Whitey Ford, guys, and I said, what'd you do? He goes, are you kidding, Al? He goes, I dusted my glove off when we got to spring training. Could you imagine that now? And I say this, Manny, because guys are just, they're throwing in November. Guys don't even stop throwing. So, like, I'm not saying they're perfect, but, their first day, there's pitching coaches in Florida and Arizona. The guys are throwing 98. They're like, stop, slow down. And then how many hitters, you, Neil, you're from Pittsburgh, like to hit in the cold?
Yeah, no, very few. I remember my dad telling me who pitched in the 70s and mostly in Montreal that he sold Seagram's gin in the offseason. Yeah.
Wow. A little extra scratch, big league ball player.
He wouldn't, to Al's point, he wouldn't touch a ball until, mid-January.
I think, Neil, for folks that are unaware of your deep ties to the Pirates, I think it's a story worth telling. The fact that you're a Pittsburgh guy, your dad played for the Pirates. I mean, I'm standing next to Yinzer royalty here.
I don't know about that, but you know, we do bleed black and gold to some capacity. But I also spent 2 years here in New York with the Mets and enjoyed my time very, very much here. And had Carlos Mendoza as an infield coach and on the other side of town in the Bronx in 2018. So still a lot of ties to not just Pittsburgh, but the Mets organization as well.
Ball and 2 strikes to the rookie Carson Bench. We got the receipts right here.
And he was fantastic, and the biggest thing, he was the infield coach there. Was, you know, I was playing 3 different positions. I was playing first, second, and third over there, and he was responsible for keeping me sharp and making sure that we were, you know, checking the boxes and being in a good place. Usually when CC Sabathia pitched, I would play third base. He got a lot of balls on the left side of the infield. And usually when you know, a right-hander pitched, I'd slide over to first base and play the tiny bit of second base.
Still the ball and 2 strikes to the 23-year-old rookie Carson Bench. Got him. Second time he has struck out in as many at-bats in his major league debut.
Well, through the minors, he's been bat to ball. I know it's only been a couple years out of Oklahoma State. Got a kind of a
interesting finish,
right? Yeah. Choppy front arm.
Still really emphasizes, you know, staying through the baseball. Usually you see guys when they have that sort of way out in front finish, you see the only one-handed finish. It's pretty rare that somebody has that sort of mobility to finish a swing that way.
So now the catcher Francisco Alvarez hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. Runner at second with 2 out in a 2-run game. Alvarez missed opening day last year. He was on the injured list with a hand injury, slowed him down last season. So much optimism for his 2025. He had revised his swing, and people were looking for a lot of power from him. Those expectations are still there in 2026. And as Carlos Mendoza told us before the game, it's all about just keeping him healthy. Ball and a strike, trying to pick up Semien from second. And a high fly ball. Reynolds with the glasses on to retire the side. Still 5-3 Mets.
Carlos, we've never seen Paul Skeens look like that before. From your vantage point, what was the biggest reason why you guys were able to throw up 5 runs?
Yeah, we did a lot of good things that inning. Started off with Lindor walking, then Soto singling, but Lindor putting pressure and going first to third there. That was huge. Then no panicking, 2-strike approach from Bo, sac fly. That Louis Robert at bat was an unbelievable at bat, and for him to be able to lay off that 3-2 breaking ball sets up the table for Brett Beatty, who gets a hold of one and clears the bases. But he was just grinding the at-bats, getting him in the zone, staying aggressive with pitches that we can do damage, and we did that.
So all that inning. Yeah. Thanks, Carlos.
What was that again?
All that inning. Yeah,
yes,
thanks, Carlos.
yes, yeah. All right, man.
Ahmed, thanks. Yeah, that 5-run first is the big pop, the big storyline here. Brandon Lau has countered nicely with 2 homers in his Pirates debut today. And we have a lot of canvas left. All this in just 3 innings of baseball. So with 1 away after the Ryan O'Hearn ground ball, Jared Triolo bats against Freddie Peralta. So you take Lau out of the lineup, and Freddie's carving him up today.
Yeah, such a good view. I didn't realize how much Freddie Peralta throws across his body. Kind of Jake Arrieta-esque for you Cub fans back in the day. And that's what makes him so difficult, because we're watching 93, 94, 95, and you say, okay, in this day and age, it's not plus. But his deception is exceptional because he hides the baseball. It's hard to pick it up.
durable. This is his third consecutive opening day start, and oddly all of them have come in New York. A couple of years ago as a Brewer here, last year as a Brewer at Yankee Stadium, and a fine play by Francisco Lindor to get Triolo.
Very nice from Francisco Lindor. Quick transfer.
And you're right, Matty. I mean, you subtract Brandon Lau, and Freddie Peralta's been as smooth and under control as he's gotten outside of that. The first two hitters of the first inning. 5 strikeouts since then.
Here's Spencer Horwitz, grounded out in his first at bat. It was kind of an abbreviated season for Spencer in Pittsburgh last year. Right wrist injury cost him some time. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, the Mets are hopeful with the likes of Freddie Peralta and some of the new arms that they will not come anywhere close to the major league record they set last year for pitchers used in a season. 46. High fly ball slicing to Soto. No problems in left field. And a 1-2-3 fourth for Freddie Peralta, MLB. And on opening day, debuts abound, and it wasn't just Brandon Lau that came from the Tampa Bay Rays in that notable 3-team swap in the winter, because this man Mason Montgomery also came aboard, making his Pirates debut this afternoon.
Well, and you're going to see some triple digits from this guy. The thing for me with him is that strike one. Get yourself into pitchers counts, because he's got the put away stuff, as you see, with the upper 90s fastball and the heavy 87-mile-an-hour curveball.
That's got slider speed to it, but that break is definitely curveball characteristics.
He gets the top of the order here in the 4th. Lindor, Soto, and Bichette, and it would seem, as the Bucks are already on their 3rd pitcher, Adam, that we might be seeing Johnny Holstaff here on opening day.
Yeah, you know, you have everything scripted out in spring training, and then, you know, baseball game breaks out on opening day. You know, it never ceases to amaze. You know, you go out all optimistic. Let's get off to a good start. I can recall getting walked off on opening day one year in Milwaukee, so I'm familiar with the feeling that Paul's feeling, and you know, just the general randomness of this game so far.
Leadoff walk. And it's the 2nd time in only 4 innings that the leadoff hitter has been walked by Pirate pitching. So Lindor aboard.
For Montgomery, he's only fastball slider, only a 2-pitch guy. 58% fastball usage to the lefties, 70% usage to the righties. As I mentioned, got to get strike one.
Soto up there hacking. If you're thinking about the lefty-lefty matchup here, know that Juan Soto has 310 hits against lefties. Tied for the 2nd most by any lefty hitter in the last couple of years.
Yeah, Soto's approach, it's so impressive. Without question, as far as his damage, his ability to hit the ball out of any ballpark, and then you talk about grinding at bats and taking his walks and getting his pitch. He's as good as any.
And it's such a simple approach. When you watch the movements, it's minimal, but he's still able to generate so much power and spray the ball around the yard. And to your point, not just off of right-handers, but both right-handers and left-handers alike.
When you look at the numbers he put up at the end of the year, it's amazing that he accomplished all that he did, considering he sleptwalked through the entire month of April. He wasn't himself at all. He didn't hit his first home run in this ballpark as a Met last year until May 1st. I mean, April was a wash, and he still finished with huge numbers.
I know you can't do this, but you extrapolate just an average month, Was he third in MVP? Second, third? What that would have looked like pushing up on Ohtani.
Let's face it, though, as long as Ohtani is doing both sides of the scorecard, it's going to be tough to knock him off the MVP throne.
Yeah, he has to have a bad year to not handicap him as a preseason favorite every year.
And I've always felt, given being healthy the entire year as an offensive player, or at least my experience was, I was going to have two not good months. I was going to have 2 good months, and I was going to have 2 months that were right at those numbers. But somebody like Juan Soto, there's 1%ers, I call them.
Yeah.
The rules don't apply to guys like that. They could have one really bad month, and the next month have a career month.
I'm glad you said that, because the MVP, Cy Young guys, they don't think that way, right? I mean, you have to have the stuff, you have to have the mindset, you have to have the belief, and also the results. I'll say this quickly. I was in the minor leagues with the Yankees. Joe Altobelli was an old manager with the Orioles, and he said exactly what you just said. You have 5 months, essentially. You're going to have 2 good ones, 2 bad ones, and then what do you do with that third one? And it's, you get 5. You get basically 5 starts a month, right? If you extrapolate it over 6 months. But it actually gives the ease of somebody who is maybe not great to not panic over a bad month.
Full count to Juan Soto. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at first with nobody out. A little check in for Lindor. Speaking of the 4-time MVP Shohei Ohtani and the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, they open their season later tonight on NBC at home with the Arizona Diamondbacks. They'll get their World Series rings and a lot of fanfare at Chavez Ravine later on tonight. There's ball 4 to Soto. Back-to-back walks for Montgomery.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how hard Mason Montgomery throws. This is a bugaboo for any pitcher, certainly pitching coach and manager. Throw strikes, make them put it in play, down by a couple. Try to keep the team close. You get an opportunity later in the game.
That's the 5th walk by Pirate pitching so far this afternoon. Another chance for Bo Bichette. Lindor walks to open the inning. Soto walks, something he did a lot of last year. In fact, nobody drew more bases on balls than Juan Soto in 2025. How about the lead he's got off of first base? He's halfway to second. Bichette up there ripping, and it's 0-2. And 3 pitches take care of Bo Bichette. 1 away from Montgomery.
Well, there you go. You see the power and the stuff that Mason Montgomery has as he walks the first 2 batters of this inning, but quickly gets ahead of Bo Bichette. And he's not swinging at that pitch if it's 2-1. He's not swinging at that pitch if it's 3-1. But you got him on tilt a little bit right there with an 0-2 count, just trying to protect, and executes a pitch where he wants it.
So now the switch hitter Jorge Polanco in from the right side, where he had a lot of success last year against lefty pitching, an OPS of almost 900. Lindor and Soto aboard with now 1 away after the strikeout.
Yeah, to your point, Matty, you see where Spencer Horwitz is, and Soto's taken as far as he can. There's not going to be a back pick. I don't think they don't do much of that anymore. So he's just playing off of his lead runner, watching him. But the fundamentals of that is that if there is a gapper, he's putting himself in position to score from first by having an aggressive lead and then an aggressive secondary.
Or beat out a ball that may be in the 6 hole that ranges Jared Triolo to his right. You know, you see that all the time, a bang bang play, and you think to yourself as a base runner and first base coaches say it all the time, how was my secondary lead? How was my primary lead? All those things are attention to detail type of stuff that can help you win in the margins.
1-0 to Polanco. A ball and a strike.
Boy, I don't know if they do it anymore, but I think of the backfields in spring training of all of the pick plays. And I had Bobby Valentine here and Robin Ventura, my old third baseman. We used to make fun because Bobby would have like 9 bunt plays and picks and back picks, and it was hilarious. But you know, right here, you got a 3 out at first base there if you just did a timing play.
2 balls and a strike. Luis Robert Jr. waiting on deck. Lead's getting even bigger for Soto. That's into the gap in left center field. Cruz ranging to his right to make the catch this time. And everybody returns. A fine running catch by O'Neill Cruz.
Yeah, it looked like he got a much better jump on this ball than the couple he got earlier in this game. We talked to Don Kelly. That was one thing he made note of, was O'Neill Cruz going to his right toward that left center field gap. So you see him shading the sun right there. Still doesn't have shades on, but shade the sun, block it, get to a spot, and hunker down.
Does that bother you? I mean, as a pitcher, I would be bothered by that. You got sun shining behind home, but maybe guys don't. Do they not use sunglasses?
At least for myself, I always wore them. I always wore them. And if the sun was blocked by the clouds, I put them off and put them in my hat. As you see, Ryan O'Hearn has some on. Brian Reynolds has some on. It is personal preference, but again, I think that if something happens, you better have a pretty good answer, right? You better have an answer why something like that happened. That's where I'm at. He doesn't want to wear them, no big deal. But when something happens with the sun, you better have a pretty good answer of why you didn't want to wear them.
Ball and 2 strikes on Luis Robert Jr. Well, I'm sure that there's an Oakley rep or 2 that have tried to hand him a pair in spring training.
They don't use the flips anymore.
The box of flips in there. It's very rare you see guys using them, but they're very useful.
Ball and 2 strikes to Luis Robert Jr. batting with 2 out and 2 on in a 2-run game, last of the 4th. And that's in through the 5.5 hole. Around third is Lindor. Throws offline. And the Mets are on the board in the 4th. It's 6-3 New York.
Luis Robert Jr. with a key at bat in that first inning to extend that in what was just a walk, but a 10-plus pitch walk. And now, one of the hardest things to do in baseball as a hitter, 2 strike, 2 out hitting.
Well, all he saw with curveballs from Montgomery. That one fastball, sat on it, got good wood on it. Nice strong throw. Good play from Henry Davis. That was going to kick to the Mets dugout.
Wait, how about the day the new Mets are having on opening day? I think David Stearns and company are pleased so far in this very short sample size. About 4 innings of baseball this season have been played. Marcus Semion's 2 for 2 with an RBI. Luis Robert Jr. has an RBI single. He had a 10-pitch walk. Bo Bichette has an RBI and a sac fly. Jorge Polanco's 1 for 2 with a walk. New guys contributing in a 3-run lead.
And that's their approach, Matt. It's not only the success and what's going on the scoreboard, and I know that's what wins games and gets you paid, but these are really impressive at bats.
Grindy. Old school type of up and down the lineup, pass the baton, don't chase, use the whole field. We're seeing it all through the first 3 2/3 innings from this New York Mets squad.
2 balls and a strike to count to Brett Beatty. 3 of the 5 walks that have been issued by the Pirates have come around to score. 99-mile-an-hour heater misses. It's 3-1. Full count. And it's not an ordinary number 7 hitter that's waiting on deck. But a 3-time All-Star due up next and licking his chops for a potential bases loaded situation. That's Marcus Semien. And a cold strike 3 taken by Beatty. One more in the Mets' fourth. However, it's 6-3 New York.
Baseball, that's what makes it so beautiful. You know, it's never over till it's over. I think somebody said that. And this is what it's all about. This is what it's all worth sweating for.
Legendary manager Davey Johnson passed away this past fall. Still the Mets' all-time leader in managerial victories, skippering that notable '86 team to the win over Boston, and Davey being recognized with a patch that the Mets will wear all season. '86 team still remembered so fondly as Nick Gonzalez dumps a base hit into right, and Ahmed is standing by with a notable member from that squad.
Mookie Wilson, 40 years ago, World Series champion. Does it seem like 40 years? Can you believe it?
Nah, it doesn't seem like 40. It's like yesterday.
Yeah. So when you watch this team, and of course, a lot of new faces this year, any similarities? It's early, but any similarities with some of the guys who have been here with the team that you were on 40 years ago?
No, you know, opening day, every day is exciting, and that I do feel that part of it. So, but as far as similarities, I don't think there's any similarities, not yet.
Double down the line, so it looks like this is going to score a run, Matt.
Indeed, action on back-to-back pitches. Ahmed, a single by Nick Gonzalez, and Henry Davis with an RBI double, and it cuts the Pirates' deficit back down to 2.
Well, of note, Bo Bichette's off that line a pretty good amount. Henry Davis just sneaks that one past there, and it's perfectly placed down. A lot of times you see those balls get down in the corner and they bounce off. That one just kind of nestled down in that corner. That was the difference between it being second and third and nobody out, and Nick Gonzalez scoring all the way from first base.
All right, so runner on second here, Mookie. Before I let you go, I got to ask you, I just heard about this. Bobblehead in May 12th, Mookie Wilson bobblehead. Have you seen it at all?
Yes, I've seen it.
Oh, you have?
I've seen it. I thought I saw it a couple of weeks ago. And interesting. It's different. It's different.
Did you get final approval?
Yes.
Okay, all right. TBD. We'll see that, Matt. Back to you.
I'm in a very qualified sounding answer from Mookie. I'm not sure he's signed off completely on the final look. I can't wait to see what this thing is.
Is the answer interesting ever really describe anything? Go anyway with that.
No.
An opportunity for O'Neill Cruz now, representing the tying run. One comes back to start the inning, and Cruz with a swing and a miss falls behind a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, this is a notable part of the game, guys. Top of the 5th inning, you got an opportunity here to move a runner with the meat of the order coming up. The Pirates are not going away, and the Mets haven't pushed this thing to, you know, a 4 or 5 run game. You want to have a quality at bat right here and try to get the job done and move this runner.
And maybe even stack up some more traffic in front of the guy who has been the biggest problem for the Mets today, and that's Brandon Lowe, sitting on a 2-homer afternoon. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lowe left Tampa Bay number 3 on their all-time home run list. Oh, look out. Flying projectile. Big fella lost to Shillelagh on that pass.
The old emergency hack right there. Trying to protect. Now he's trying to speed up. Don't worry, there's a net there. Well, let's see how Freddie Peralta approaches this right here. After, as you mentioned, 2 home runs to Lowe, and this is 3rd at bat. Does he attack him?
First pitch is fouled away. Well, Brandon Lowe, the first player to homer in his first 2 at-bats with a new team since Daniel Nava with the Phillies in 2017. A fence scraper in the first and a no-doubter in the 3rd.
And the helmet.
Davis at second with a run in and 1 away, and a swing and a miss puts him behind 0-2.
Pulled the string on the first pitch with a changeup, came back with a breaking ball. We got the 0-2. He can expand. Big Lowe swing at his pitcher's pitch.
The homers came on a fastball and then a curveball back in the third. Freddie misses with a four-seamer, 1 and 2. It's a pretty small list of players that have hit 3 homers on an opening day. Only 4 in the history of the sport. Most recently, Matt Davidson of the White Sox in 2018. The one that I remember the most was Carl Tuffy Rhodes, the '94 Cubs.
Doc.
And I think Mets fans remember it too. Doc Gooden was the opponent. That one skips. 2 and 2 now. The other 2, Dimitri Young with the Tigers in 05, and George Bell was the first to do it with the 1988 Toronto Blue Jays.
That's a short list.
3 home runs in a game, and it's opening day.
Yeah.
You're going home from the ballpark on day 1 pretty happy.
You're already chalked for player of the week. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Freddie Peralta, who might be getting close to the end here this afternoon. So from 0-2 to a full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Adam, I feel like we're going to see plenty of the Mets bullpen this afternoon as well.
Gonna have to. He's grinding a little bit through this inning. He's trying to be careful with Lau, obviously with the 2 homers. Try to keep him away from the pull side fly ball. That's the only thing he wants to do. So you got to work him slow into the outside.
Full count pitch, a little tapper to the right side of the infield. Semien will gather it in. Davis to third on out number 2.
Good pitch, as soft away as Adam just alluded to. You got a guy with 2 home runs. I'm pretty certain that he's thinking home run again, but here out in front of this backdoor breaking ball, throws his hands just to get the barrel on the ball, trying to find a hole. Semien makes a nice play.
It's a real big at bat for Peralta and the Mets, because Brian Reynolds, in addition to being a 2-time All-Star and leading the Pirates in hits for 5 straight seasons, has the most hits of any active player against Freddie Peralta. And a base hit here brings it to a 1-run game. Oh, and 2.
Seeing Freddie this inning throwing more changeups. He's been fastball, breaking ball up to this point, sprinkling in his change. You see Myers getting ready.
All the former Brewers playing a role potentially today for New York. You know, 5+ innings was around the number for Freddie in his final year in Milwaukee. Get some help on a nice block by Alvarez here with a runner at third. 30 of Peralta's 33 starts last year were of 5+ innings. A 1-2.
Heavy off-speed usage through this inning for Freddie. Yeah, it looks to me like that swing that Lau got out on, it looked like he was waiting for Freddie to possibly pop him with that front door fastball. It does not seem like he's going to go in that direction. Maybe we see one here up and in, but he is living down and away with that changeup and backdoor breaking ball.
Yeah, if I got my numbers right here, Neil, like 19 pitches this inning, I've got 2 of them being fastballs. So you're right.
2-2.
There's another one.
Boy, he has really taken a lot off the velocity of his breaking ball here as well. The 2 sliders not as firm as they were in the first and second innings, and then that curveball, I think by design here, was 74 miles an hour. So full count now.
Yeah, sometimes you could pitch not to mess up, like be aggressive, but looks like he's trying to miss bats right
now. Nothing but breaking balls to Reynolds, and Alvarez wants to chat. right, Al, take us inside that meeting.
Well, I'm going to say right now, Alvarez, good meet, but this is your last pitch. The game is now becoming certainly online. 6-4, you're up, but don't pitch defensively to make or think what the hitter's going to do. What's the right pitch here?
What is the right pitch here?
I would throw a changeup. He's been leaning on it. I think he's comfortable with it. Change.
Yeah, Dr. Leiter. To the bottom half of the fifth, and Mason Montgomery continues on this opening day in New York. The second reliever used by the Pirates behind Paul Skeens, who had a short one today. And it'll be Semien, Benj, and Alvarez here in the fifth. 35-year-old veteran, followed by the 23-year-old rookie to start inning number 5 for New York.
Paul's still in the dugout. I'll tell you, thinking about that first inning, he's never seen that before, but he's still out there.
Semien with a high drive out to center. Cruz has it for out number 1. Well, the 23-year-old rookie making his major league debut this afternoon on opening day has struck out in each of his first 2 plate appearances so far. He is the youngest player to start an opening day for the Mets since 1979, and it's a job that he won with a fabulous spring training. 0-1. 2-way standout star at Oklahoma State. One of 2 that you could say that about on the Mets roster. Nolan McLean being the other.
A couple Okie State boys there.
You know, there was some late intrigue in Mets camp as to who would break camp with the big league team. And the veteran Mike Tauchman in camp, he got hurt, and it kind of paved the way for Benj. But you know, we asked Carlos Mendoza about that before the game, and we said, is it fair to say that Benj may have won that job anyway? And he said, yeah, it's fair to say that. May have, but with Tauchman down, it made it a much easier choice.
Oh no, you go.
I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. He was drafted only a couple of years ago. First round pick, 19th pick overall at Oklahoma State University. And then last year, guys, he started in the Sally League, which is a high A, went to double A, and finished up in Syracuse. He only had 90 at bats at the AAA level. So there's going to be some bumps along the way.
Well, I'm with you guys on the interesting nature of his pass at the baseball. The bottom hand comes off on contact. It's very unique.
You don't see that very often. You don't see this finish more than anything. At point of contact, it's as normal as anybody else's swing, but that emphasis on pushing that through and finishing your swing a lot of times can help you stay on those off-speed pitches that are down and fight off some pitches up.
Working a pretty good at bat here, something that Carlos Mendoza was impressed with all spring.
Well, and of note on the other side for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Connor Griffin, a guy that they, you know, got a lot of at bats to, and as you see Isaac Mattson getting ready in the bullpen, hoping they can keep this game right where it's at for him.
He's behind in the count. He worked a walk.
Good at bat.
And Benj is on base for the first time in his big league career.
You can see fight in the kid, right? He's fouling off. He's spoiling pitchers' pitches. Obviously tracking the baseball. Batting 300 last year, both in the A and double A. 300.
Don Kelly making a pitching change. Pirates go to the bullpen. We'll be right.
Guys, to both the lefties and righties, a ton of ride to the fastball, not particularly hard, but gets a lot of swing and miss on fastballs up the zone and a lot of foul balls.
Third trip to the plate for Francisco Alvarez this afternoon. He's been hit by a pitch and flied to left. He's got a runner aboard with 1 away and a 2-run New York lead. Quickly 0-2 on Francisco Alvarez. Matson had a really nice year in Pittsburgh last season. 203 batting average against, 44 outings. Very tough on right-handed batters.
Well, he's the type of guy that you're standing in the batter's box and you look up at the mile per hour and it says 94, but you're thinking to yourself, that felt like 103. How is this possible? His ball is just getting on me. He has a little bit of a short arm, but the ball just explodes out of his hand.
So not to get super nerdy, but I will, Matt.
Get nerdy.
All right. So there's deception we talk about in perceived velocity, but here's a guy that because he stays close and he gets good induced vert, which means the gravity doesn't take it down as much. So when a guy sees,
that's a shot to right. Boy, he was on that heater.
So it's the only way that Matson can be as successful because he throws 2 pitches, and we're alluding to it right now. He throws 80% fastballs and 18-ish% changeups. This is nice hitting right here. Alvarez stays on it, gets a low enough fastball to stay with it, goes to right center. See, he's having to make sure that that ball wasn't caught. Boy, Alvarez, his best swing. If he stays on it and thinks there's a lot of doubles and home runs to right center, he's going to put a lot of balls in play.
So now Francisco Lindor in from the left side with 2 runners on. Adam Ottavino, how do you work this at bat?
This is an interesting matchup. We talk about the riding fastball of Matson. If he sticks at the top of the zone, he can kind of get above the slightly scoopy-ish swing that Lindor has. But if he misses medium height or lower, it could get loud here.
1-1.
If I'm him, I'm probably starting soft like he just did a little bit there and then finishing up above the zone. That would be my approach on the mound here if I'm Matson.
Lindor has walked twice. He scored 2 runs this afternoon.
I wanted to add on to that, Adam. How as a pitcher, for somebody like Matson that's almost 80% fastball to the lefties and righties, how do you determine, I do have to throw something else here to keep him honest, but I don't want to get beat with my second or third best pitch?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think ultimately he knows that he wants to get him out with a fastball up here, but he can't live there the whole time because he knows this is a guy capable of making that adjustment. And, he can change his swing if he needs to, if he sees enough of them. So, the idea, start him soft to get him off the scent a little bit, make him think, okay, he's not just going to spam fastballs at me, and then you go right back to it.
3-1. Well, Adam, he tried to do exactly what you described. He just missed with it. And that ball 4 loads the bases. Another walk by the Pirates staff this afternoon. That has been a real problem for Don Kelly.
Yeah, 3 walks by Francisco Lindor himself. Not a great recipe for success. Too much traffic and too many big hitters in this Mets lineup to change the game exponentially with 1 swing.
Well, you're really playing with fire when you walk him loaded in front of this fella. Juan Soto has walked today. 7 walks by Pirate pitching. Bases loaded for Soto. There have been 2 opening day grand slams in Mets history. Adam, what do you do with this guy?
This is a bad spot for Matson. This is advantage Soto. Soto's got a much flatter swing than Lindor, so that fastball up plays right into his hand.
2-0.
He's also not going to expand the zone, so he's going to make him come to him. See Matson getting a new ball here. He's got to search within himself to make a pitch right here. Or, again, this could be very loud contact right here.
Yeah, that's the 4 RBI hack.
Well, that's the issue with when you have 2-pitch pitcher, and this is what Matson is. We saw it with Montgomery. Montgomery was fastball slider, and if you don't have a feel for a secondary pitch, you become very predictable.
2-1 pitch into the hole and into left field. 1 on, 1 in, and the fire is still hot in the Mets half of the 5th. Back to a 3-run New York lead.
A terrific piece of hitting right here by Juan Soto. Look at the hole, the 6-hole right there. Really would have been a straight up ball to shortstop, but obviously not playing there. Jared Triolo. We got a catcher runner from second base, so he's held up at third. Moved the line. And again, another dangerous hitter in Bo Bichette. It feels like you're just teetering on a spot where this thing could get into a bad situation for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I'm feeling the same thing. Adam, you had success against Bo Bichette in your big league career. How does that change things here?
Well, it doesn't. Me and Madsen are completely different, but I think I would love to know what Bo would think about it. You know, I've known Bo since he was 14 when his dad was the hitting coach for us with the Rockies. In this spot, though, he's going to make contact. That's his superpower in this spot. You're not going to strike him out. If you try to strike him out, I think that's a mistake. So you got to try to get him on the ground here. If you're Madsen, it's not his specialty. So again, we're pitching several layers into his style that aren't really his strength, and we'll see if he can execute that.
What about a changeup right here? Something down action.
Pitch he doesn't throw very often. Fastball misses up. 2 balls and a strike. Oh, those bases on balls. 4 of the 7 issued by Pirates pitching have come across to score today. And as Neil mentions, it feels like they're one big hit away from really blowing this open. Big swing and a miss to make it 2-2.
Just a bit of an invisible, and he throws slow enough. I mean, if this was the upper 90s, guys would be more selective with respect to just not having it as enough time. But it's a pitch that looks like guys can barrel it, and he just has that late life when it's upstairs and guys are aggressive.
Two to Bichette. Off the hands, fouled away. I'm not even sure how he made contact with that ball. Such a quick trigger.
Well, he lets it track, so the idea of, like, to get beat inside just like that for Bo Bichette to get beat because he's looking something out over to go right center.
Took something off that time. So the first wrinkle in the at-bat to Bichette.
Yeah, it's tough enough to pitch in the big leagues against the best hitters on the planet. And when you don't have weapons of other secondary pitches, it makes it just, you're threading needles constantly.
The 7th pitch of the at-bat. I don't know what other thing is there for Madsen here. It's been 7 heaters. He took one off pitch number 6, like wasn't quite as firm.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the kind of stuff you see in high school baseball, right? No, this guy's got a good fastball. He can't hit it. He's able to do it. And he did it very successfully last year, Isaac Madsen did. But to your point, and to Adam's point, when do you decide to, if it's getting fouled off or guys are late, when do you get off that fastball and have to throw something that's at least not getting fouled off?
The next 2-2. I don't know that Bo is thinking anything but heater here. It's almost like he's in there against the pitching machine.
Well, he's fighting the fastball off, right? He's being short to the baseball. Those happen to be inside, right? So if his approach is middle of the field or right center, I just find it amazing that he doesn't have a wrinkle. Throw a little spin here from Madsen. It's amazing. This is
11 pitches, 11 heaters.
So the logic here is Madsen knows he's beating him, quote unquote, right? Because he's late, he's fighting. You do him a favor, at least logically, if you throw him a changeup. And he doesn't have a slider, a curve, or something that has spin away. Tough to pitch that way.
Still 2-2.
Well, then it goes back to that point, Al, of especially in this part of the game, you don't want to get beat with your secondary pitches, right?
Look at that.
You want to get, if you're going to get beat, you want it to be with your best pitch. So, I mean, that's, what do you think's coming on pitch 12?
Got a little extra giddy up on that last one.
Let's get a little closer.
We better rub up some new baseballs.
Wow.
On an afternoon where the Mets have seemingly been on base all day. In fact, this is plate appearance number 30 for New York here, and 16 of the previous 29 have reached base. The next 2-2. Got him!
Wait a minute. Slider. He's got one. Throw the slider. Look at this. It didn't do a whole lot, but just the speed variation from the 94s. We saw one changeup, and then here he threw a little wrinkle, and Bo swung at a ball. Wasn't it bad?
When it is hard to believe, Matt, that we're looking at this, and if he does get this out right here, it's still only a 3-run game. That's unbelievable to think about.
See,
the way this game is gone.
See if Madsen can pull the rest of the rabbit out of the hat here. Bases loaded, a run in with 2 away. Jorge Polanco has singled, walked, and scored in this one. Mets are 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position this afternoon. 2 balls and no strikes. Al, you still want to say that pitching is ahead of hitting coming out of spring training? I feel like it today, my friend.
It should be. No, I shouldn't say it should be. This is a little erratic.
3-0. And nowhere to put Polanco.
Oh, this is significant too, guys. I mean, if this goes to a 4-run game, both managers, in particular, Carlos Mendoza, might be able to use his bullpen a little bit differently. And obviously, I know it's the first game of the season and you're fully loaded down there. But when you're talking about the first game of the series too, even with tomorrow off, you want to make sure that, you know, you got your guys in there. But a 3-run game to a 4-run game going into the last 4 innings is fairly significant.
With the bases loaded. The 3-0 loses him on 4 pitches. He walked in a run. The 8th walk of the afternoon by Pirates pitching.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what level you're at. Walks kill pitchers. They hurt teams, and you can't defend against it. Frustrating for certainly the pitcher and the pitching coach.
And now Luis Robert Jr. Adam, not that you had endured feelings like this often in your long major league career, but take us inside what's going through Isaac Madsen's mind right now.
Well, he battled so hard with Bichette there, you know, pitch after pitch after pitch, and he finally gets through him, so you exhale a little bit, and, you know, I think there was a little bit of sharpness lost to Polanco. Right now, he's just talking to himself. You got to have good self-talk in this moment. Pull it out of yourself. Come on, you're 1 pitch away. Stay with it. That's what you got to have going on in your head right now.
No parachute, nobody up behind him, and it's a ball and a strike to Luis Robert Jr. On opening day 2026, the Pirates have matched their high walk total from all of 2025 with 8. Little excuse me. Oh no. And everybody's safe.
No, they know what, you know what they tell you guys, you put balls in play, it doesn't matter. Sometimes balls find space, balls get kicked, and in this instance we get one just off the edge of Madsen's glove, it looks like, and Spencer Horwitz not 100% sure what to do, and Luis Robert runs just well enough to beat this out.
I mean, it really was in no man's land there. As a pitcher, you're taught immediately ground ball right side, go to first. Just didn't get the glove on it. But You know, you're right, because it's indicative of what we've been watching this afternoon with the Mets approach. Spoiling pitchers' pitches, getting the pitcher to throw it in the zone, really fighting. And I see really like a middle gap-to-gap approach from many of these Mets hitters.
Saw Justin Lawrence up in the bullpen for the Pirates a moment ago. Base is still loaded, another run in. It's a 5-run game, and this is the second time that the Mets have sent 9 batters to the plate in an inning.
Well, in today's modern day of baseball, how many times does a team score 9 runs and does not have 1 home run in those 9 runs? It's very, very rare.
2 balls and no strikes to Brett Beatty.
They got to get somebody up.
Looks like Justin Lawrence is just starting to get going in the Pirates bullpen.
This has been one of those death by 1,000 paper cuts innings for the Pirates. Mets have gone station to station all inning.
There are some people for whom good enough is never good enough. They ruffle feathers, push boundaries. They are high performers, and high performers choose Sage, high-performance finance software.
3-run rally for the Mets, and it's happened with 3 walks, 2 ground ball singles, 1 well-hit ball, 1 line drive base hit. That was the guy that struck it, Francisco Alvarez.
Yeah, it really has been, right? I mean, you got a pitching staff that has pitched themselves into trouble with all the walks. While there's been a contact, a lot of it hasn't really been smashed.
So 2 balls and no strikes to Beatty after the mound visit. Beatty sitting on a 3 RBI afternoon. High fly ball slicing in left. Reynolds is there, and the inning comes to an end. Not before 3 more for New York. At batter up odds for Marcell Ozuna, Ryan O'Hearn, and Jared Triolo. And that group will be digging in against a new Mets pitcher as new Met Tobias Myers takes over with a 5-run lead in the top of the 6th inning.
And for Myers, you're going to see mainly 4-seam cutter, slider, split usage from him. Tick up in the split against the lefties and a tick up in the slider against the righties.
And a ball and a strike on Marcell Ozuna, who's 0 for 2 so far today. Tobias Myers, acquired from Milwaukee along with Freddie Peralta, who's done after 5 innings in his Mets debut today. In fact, now we can close the book on both starters. And as you can tell, a little better opener for Freddie than it was for Paul Skeens today. Ozuna with a high infield pop. Lindor backpedaling for the first down of the inning. So now it's a 5-run game. And you've got a guy capable of giving you some length out of the New York bullpen, Adam. How does the 5-run lead change anything, if at all, for this group of Mets pitchers?
Well, if you're in the game with the 5-run lead, your job is to make the opposition earn everything they get. So you just pound the strike zone. You don't try to hit corners. You just go right into Francisco Alvarez, chest protector, and make them earn everything they get. You know, don't give them any freebies here. That's it.
If it was you, would you be throwing your slider? That's a dumb question.
Well,
we know the answer.
There were some days that's the only thing I could throw over the plate, so yes.
Counts 2 balls and no strikes to Ryan O'Hearn. Al, as a starter, did you ever have days like that? I mean, Adam could live on his slider. We remember those days vividly. It was that good. But as a starter, did you ever have a day where you were a 1-pitch guy?
Well, if you talk to Mike Piazza, he would say yes. I threw a lot of cutters. My fastball, my slider became a cutter because of the effort behind it. But it was still the same pitch. That's why when I see like splinker and slider and sweeper, it's, you know, often it's the same pitch. It's just effort. and how it comes out of your hand, and depending upon who's up, scout report, etc. So yes, I threw a pitch that it was hard for especially righties to square up, and I was relentless because I didn't give up the plate. So if it meant that I would walk guys, Bobby Valentine, who was my manager here for many years, he knew it. It's like, Bobby, just leave me alone. I'm going to throw 120, 125 pitches, and there's a method to this madness. But Adam's right. In a game like this,
O'Hearn to the opposite field. That ball carrying. Soto back, looking up, and that one's gone. Big time opposite field pop for Ryan O'Hearn.
Off the bat, this looked like it didn't have a chance whatsoever. It just kept going. A backside ball nonetheless. Not easy to do. Big pop. Ryan O'Hearn.
Tell how strong he is. I'm with you, Neil. This ball, of course, he got barreled. And ends up going 358 feet. 97 mile an hour exit velocity. You like that, don't you?
It makes me laugh every time.
I do like it.
I'm putting that in the book as one of my early favorites for this year's home run celebrations. And the new Pirates are cashing in 2 homers for Brandon Lau. Solo dinger for Ryan O'Hearn. Back to a 4-run game.
There's a fastball away. He stays on. You see the head down. Really nice piece of hitting there. He thought he got it as well.
What was the FanDuel number on a homer for O'Hearn here? Plus 1,800. Okay. 2 balls and no strikes to count to Jared Triolo. Plus 1,400. Out to right center field for Louis Robert. 2 away. So not to beat a dead horse here, but the base on balls has been everything. Because the Pirates have out-homered the Mets 3-zip.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You look at Freddie Peralta's line, 7 strikeouts and no walks, and obviously Skeens was only in there for 1 inning, but he had 2 walks in his first, or was only out there for 1 inning, but he still gave up two walks. It's just a hard way to navigate a ball game, and you walk a certain amount. Guess what? You definitely are going to face the meat of the order the 5th time, sometimes even 6 times. How are you going to win with that recipe? It's just very, very difficult.
4 of the 8 walks scored.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pitching what I want. I know it happens. You don't, as a pitcher, you don't want to walk the leadoff guy. I know it's part of the game, but 8 walks is it's not good.
Ball and a strike to count to Spencer Horwitz. Well, for a lineup that didn't hit a ton of homers last year, I mean, there's a good narrative here. The 3 home runs by the Pirates. Infield pop handled by Bichette. In a 9-5 lead for the Mets, we go to the bottom half of inning number 6, and another pitching change for Pittsburgh. It's the former Rockies closer who spent much of last season recovering from an elbow injury, Justin Lawrence.
Sidearm guy, gets a lot of ground balls, sinker, slider.
Face Marcus Semien, Carson Bench, and Francisco Alvarez. Feels like we've been talking up this bottom of the Mets lineup all afternoon because they have been productive. Semien has singled on a 1-for-3 start to the season, and his Mets career 0-1 to the 35-year-old vet.
And you mentioned now Justin Lawrence missed a large amount of time last year, and that was a pretty big blow for the Pirates bullpen. Guy that came in from Colorado, a leverage guy, was pitching mainly in the 7th, 8th inning at times.
Semien to center field, and Cruz is there for it for out number 1. How about Marcus Semien batting 7th in this lineup? Yeah. This is low as he's hit in the lineup since 2019.
I watched a lot of Marcus the last few years with the Rangers, and I don't think I ever saw him below 5th. So it tells you a lot about this Mets offense, and to lengthen it, to have a veteran hitter in Marcus Semien to be down at the bottom of this lineup, it's only lengthening.
Oh, Carson Bench with a drive to right field. And that one goes! The rookie has homered in his Mets debut on opening day.
Well, congratulations, young man. Hopefully there's many, many more to come. There's not a better moment for somebody, especially an offensive player, to hit a home run your first at bat. Look at him.
They want a curtain call.
Oh, that's great. Look at that smile.
I think it's true of any fan base, but particularly here in New York, they love their own homegrown kids.
Opening day, your first big league game.
Pretty good.
In your home park.
First hit.
I'll tell you another thing. He wants to get this onion back. I don't know where it landed. Is it retrievable? Yeah.
It's in the bullpen.
Yep.
Got a little spinning slider, middle of the plate.
A strike to Alvarez to make it 1-2. Kazuo Matsui, the first Mets player to hit an opening day homer in his debut. In a very short list that Benj adds his name to.
And off a slider nonetheless.
You know, with his two hands on the bat, but level through, man. Congratulations.
Adam, what are they going to do to that baseball down there? I mean, the relievers can be crafty types.
Yeah, I'm sure longtime bullpen catcher Dave Racanello is on the case. He's going to go find it, make sure it gets to the authenticator, and then they'll present it to Carson after the game.
Alvarez follows up with a bomb. Oh, my goodness. Top tank. Santa Maria.
Well, we talked to Carlos Mendoza before the game, and he feels like Alvarez is a guy that has the potential to be an X factor for this team. You see him hitting ninth today in this order, but he just said, boy, the power is just so big from this guy, and if he can stay healthy, he could be a guy that just does a ton of damage toward the bottom of this Mets order.
Yeah, it's 100% been a health issue with him. He gets a fastball middle up. Crushed it.
429 feet. I'm not sure what's happening around the league in other opening day venues, but I would stand a reasonable guess as to say that's the farthest hit baseball of the year so far. Man. An 11-5 lead after the second of back-to-back homers.
Second deck. That's a middle up, out, over.
The Mets opening day record for runs is 12. And they did that in 1994 at Wrigley Field. Getting awfully close here this afternoon.
After scoring 9 runs through 5 innings without a home run, you go back to back.
And Lindor with a chopper. Gonzalez with a nifty play to get him. 2 away. You mentioned this early, Neil, after the quick exit by Paul Skeens after 2/3 of an inning. How are you going to cover the remainder of this game? I mean, I get it. Everybody's fresh. It's opening day, but it's a challenge.
And as I said, even with an off day tomorrow, you you don't want to see your relievers on day one of the season throw 30-plus pitches if you don't have to, even if they're lengthened out a little bit.
Juan Soto with one that's going to stay in the ballpark for O'Hearn. But back-to-back homers, including a rookie going deep for the first time, have given the Mets their largest lead of the afternoon. I hit the turnstiles quite yet because the Mets lineup might not be done. They have been loud this afternoon. 11 runs on 11 hits and a 6-run lead for Tobias Myers to continue in relief.
Oh, that's great.
They're still loving on the rookie. Carson Benz with a homer. So Nick Gonzalez leading things off in the Pirates half of the 7th. Gonzalez, Davis, and Cruz. Tobias Myers entered in the 6th. Misses high to Gonzalez, 2-2.
Wow, I think I might have challenged that one. Middle up. Oof.
Swing and a miss by Gonzalez, and Alvarez will finish with the throw to first. There's one away. Opening day on NBC is brought to you by Progressive Insurance, a grand slam for your budget, and by Corona. La Playa awaits.
Look at this.
Some vintage Al Leiter. Opening day 0-2. Got a big start against these Buccos. A one-hop smash fielded by Bichette. I know that you, Al, were very aware of the place in history that you may have occupied starting an opening day for the Mets with Tom Seaver's record, ironclad. Bichette making a good play here for route number 2. It's got to be a special honor. You start on opening day.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, I played for 4 teams. Got a chance to win a couple World Series. One in Toronto, one in Florida. World Series here in 2000, we lost to the Yanks. I grew up a Mets fan. And you know how that is. You have teams you play for, but so to pitch an opening day for the team you rooted for at Shea Stadium at the time, yeah, special.
O'Neal Cruz with the chopper. Simeon has it, and it's a very quick 1-2-3-7, authored by Tobias Myers. Up and stretching in Flushing, Queens. Mets with a big lead at home, and will stay right here for the singing of God Bless America.
Fans, please rise and remove your caps as we honor our great nation and all the men and women who help keep us safe and free with the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome NYPD Detective Brianna Fernandez.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Scan the QR code or visit MLBshop.com, the official source for your favorite team gear. Gregory Soto, the new pitcher for Pittsburgh, a former Met, on the mound on opening day here wearing visitors colors. Last year in New York, 70 appearances. His number was called often. An ERA just over 4. And he inherits a 6-run deficit, trying to keep it that way to give the Pirates at least a puncher's chance. Shattered bat flare out to left field. It's handled by Reynolds. And Bo Bichette is retired on the first pitch in the last of the 7th.
Well, considering the at-bats that he's had today with all the foul balls, he got some sawed-off cheese in on his hands.
If you had to guess, how many pitches do you think he's seen in this game today for his 5 at-bats?
I'll say 28.
You can answer that question.
Yeah, I'll take right around there.
Over under.
I'll take the over.
We had one at 11, right?
Here's Jorge Polanco now. I think we can say this, that the old group of Mets, those that were shipped out or left, as good, as talented as this group is, would be hard pressed to match the productivity of the new guys today. I mean, we've gone 7+ innings without even talking about Pete Alonso, wildly popular player, elite home run hitter. And the new guys have stepped right in. In fact, 6 of the Mets' 11 runs have been driven in by guys making their Mets debuts today.
And we asked Carlos Mendoza directly about that. You know, do you feel like with the subtraction of Nimmo and especially Pete Alonso, that the power that he brought, how are you going to replace that? And he bluntly said, you know, we're going to do it with a little bit lengthier lineup. We may not necessarily hit, quite as many home runs or slug quite as much, but we're going to give quality at bats up and down the lineup day in and day out.
Here is one of the new guys, Luis Robert Jr., who's been very productive this afternoon. A pair of RBI singles, a walk, and a run scored.
And everything he said, as it refers to that, has come true in this first game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you got your hands full with Paul Skeens on opening day. These guys grinded it out, sent 10 batters to the plate in the first inning.
Chance for a 7-pitch inning here for Gregory Soto.
Well, this is just a snapshot of what we're talking about with the length of the lineup and professional bats and, taking pitches and fouling balls off. They've seen 140-ish pitches, 150. So if this is what the Mets of 2026 is about, to pass the baton and get a good pitch and think center of the field, it's going to be a good year.
About an 8-pitch inning for Gregory Soto. MLB Plus is new for 2026. Stream MLB Network 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week and enjoy numerous additional features. Visit MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. And later on tonight on NBC, you can see Oral Hershiser's bobblehead against Louis Gonzalez bobblehead. Dodgers Diamondbacks as the Dodgers open their World Championship defense with a ring ceremony. Again, that all coming up later on tonight on NBC live from Los Angeles. Brandon Lau sitting on a 2-homer debut as a Pirate. Unfortunately for his side, it comes in a 6-run 8th inning deficit. Top of the 8th for Lau, Reynolds, and Ozuna. Counts 2 balls and a strike. As we talked about, there have been 4 players who have struck for 3-homer games on opening day. Lau likely not to add his name to that list on a very nice play by Jorge Polanco, staying with a hot shot.
Well, these are the balls right here. We mentioned Polanco hasn't spent a ton of time over there at first base. You got to go through these balls. You got to go through these type of balls in order to understand whether do you go after them. Do you try to just body it up? Do you just try to do anything you can to knock it down? You have so much time on that right side of the infield that you just want to make sure, if nothing else, you do everything you can to knock it down and give yourself a chance of getting out on these hard balls like that.
There's Brian Reynolds now. Adam, it feels like we might be seeing Tobias Myers to take us home here today. Is that the sense you're getting down there?
Yeah, that would be quite all right with the rest of the relievers. We used to call this landing the plane. So go out there and finish this thing out, big fella.
Starting his third inning work here in relief of Freddie Peralta, who went 5 in his Mets debut. The Milwaukee connection on opening day for the Mets.
Tobias last year with the Brewers, 22 games, he had 6 starts. So this would be kind of his role, whether it's up by a few or down by a few.
Another ground ball chance for Polanco. Remember, it was a couple of years ago in the postseason, that series that Pete Alonso kind of tore the hearts of Brewers fans out with the homer against Devin Williams, that Tobias Myers had an unbelievable outing against the Mets. So there's familiarity there, and let's face it, David Stearns, with his Rolodex of Milwaukee players that he drafted and developed, it's not an accident that there are so many ex-Brewers here with the Mets.
I think that you see that a lot with executives knowing that they came from another organization. They know their talent, they know their A-ball talent, and right through the farm system. I'm not surprised that he pulled the trigger for some of the Brewer guys.
0-2 the Cats. Marcell Ozuna, who's hitless in his Pirates debut today. Thought somebody was going to touch the cap on that one. Instead, it's 1-2. As we talked about earlier, throws to first base was legislated. We thought that there'd be Ricky Henderson type stolen base totals. It didn't happen.
Yeah. The league adjusts, right? You talk about all these rule changes, the non-shifting and the size of the bases, and the pitch clock, all these things that have been implemented over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. And the thing that I keep coming back to is, like, these guys will adjust to it. It may take a short period of time, but they live with it, and you figure it out.
High fly ball into shallow right from first is Polanco, responsible for all 3 outs in the inning. And it's still an 11-5. The Mets took their at-bats in the bottom half of the first, trailing, and they were undeterred. Brett Beatty struck for a 3-run triple, the big blow. Paul Skeens would not last much longer. Gone after just 2/3 of an inning. 2 misplays in center certainly didn't help his case. Wheels came off early, and the Pirates have had a hard time putting them back on since.
I mean, the Pirates bullpen, you got to give them credit. As you see between the second and that 5th inning, they gave them a chance to stay in that game. The Pirates put on a couple runs, but just weren't able to put it back to a place where they could be much more competitive. And you mentioned the walks over the course of this game has just been much too significant as we see Dennis Santana enter this game.
Second former Met used out of the Pirates bullpen this afternoon, following Johan Ramirez, who was the first reliever used by Don Kelly.
And if you did watch the game in that first inning, the box score is definitely deceiving with the 2/3 innings, 5 earned runs for Paul Skeens. There's a couple miscues out there in center field with O'Neill Cruz that cost him. And he's still out there. That's you don't see that a whole lot, folks. The guy had a rough outing and usually go up into the clubhouse and watch from there. Still in the dugout.
That resonates for me from a standpoint of leadership, right? about Paul Skeens coming into this year, Mitch Keller, and some of these guys that are quote-unquote veterans now. And, Paul Skeens is still super young. And as you see Braxton Ashcraft and Bubba Chandler on the right hand there. This is setting an example for these guys. This is the way Pirates baseball, in order to get to that next level and get over the hump and get back into the playoffs, you need to have everybody pulling in the same direction. You have to have everybody on the same page. And moments like this, even though they seem insignificant, that shows me how much leadership skills Paul Skeens has.
Hey, can I hit you on Bubba Chandler real quick, since you brought him up and we saw a shot of him on the bench there. There are those that have seen him throw that think he has just as good, if not better, stuff than Paul Skeens.
The arsenal is obviously not similar. The velocities with the fastball, the slider is a wipeout slider. We've seen him develop a little bit more of something moving away from second base or from left-handed hitters. His stuff is very, very good.
ACE's YardRx program prescribes the best lawn care specific to your yard's needs. Delivered free. Subscribe now and save 20% on everything you need all year.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
One gone, bases empty now for Marcus Semien. And while we're talking about young Pirates with exciting futures, and it might be difficult to think about in a 6-run deficit on opening day, one of the big storylines in Bradenton and Pirates camp was that of Connor Griffin, 19-year-old rookie phenom who did not break camp with the team, hit a bunch of early homers in spring training, and there was talk of his not only breaking camp with the major league team but starting on opening day. And the Pirates decided to kind of slow the roll, and he's going to get a little bit more seasoning at the minor league level.
Yeah, and I talked a little bit about that, but didn't necessarily go into it with, because that was a very polarizing topic of discussion in spring training for the Pirates. And what a good, oh, we got a challenge.
Yeah, we got a challenge. Marcus Semien thought that breaking ball missed.
Okay.
And he's going to be wrong.
Oh, confirmed. The Mets have one challenge left.
ABS challenge system powered by T-Mobile, and the Mets lose their challenge.
But we saw Connor Griffin in spring training down in Bradenton get a ton of at-bats, especially early. They pushed him a little bit, and they just wanted him to get a little bit more work down in AAA.
Kind of a similar story around Carson Bench, who did break camp with the major league team and who has homered in his major league debut this afternoon.
Yeah, what a moment for Carson Bench. A little slider middle of the plate. His first big league home run, his first opening day. Look at him. Got a little curtain call. What a moment.
A day he will never forget.
Guy was in college less than 2 years ago. And what a draft that 2024 class is turning into. And by the way, did they get here quickly these days or what? I mean, the Mets took him a pick before Toronto took Trey Savage, and we saw what he did in the World Series and such last year.
Well, and Mets fans will remember Michael Conforto and how quickly his rise came from the minor leagues to the major leagues in a season where the Mets went to the World Series too. They move quick these days.
2 balls and a strike to count to Bench.
Well, I get it with pitchers, right? You go down, you have a big league arm or even a potential front end starter. You know, the logic, it used to be you needed the number was 400 innings in minors. Now it's like, hey, he's got big league stuff. Let's get him up here.
Right.
Injury, etc. Potential.
And there's ball 4. Turned into a pretty nice line for Carson in his major league debut. A couple of walks, homer.
Well, we haven't seen a stolen base attempt today. I know this game is a six-run game, but it seems these days in modern day baseball, you see teams taking shots.
No.
I don't expect to see it here, but I'm just saying that 4-run lead has essentially become like a 5. It's almost like you're playing in Colorado these days everywhere you go. People are assuming a 3-run homer is coming around the corner every single time somebody steps in the box. Wow, look at this.
StatCast powered by Google Cloud. This ball was absolutely crushed.
That's leaving every ballpark in the world.
That's right.
Even old Forbes Field. Pirates fans.
Oh, look at you, Forbes.
0-2 the count to Francisco Alvarez. Hey, there he goes. You were onto something, Neil. No throw down.
See, I told you, Al.
Wow. You know what they used to do. Something.
Yeah, I know exactly what they used to do.
Alvarez would be get one in his side. Yeah.
Kid's got all the tools.
Are you good with that?
Like I said, it seems like the unwritten rules in particular, that 8th, 9th inning, I don't like it. I don't like it. But like I said, it almost feels like everybody feels like they're playing it in Colorado these days in the 8th and 9th inning with a 5, 6, 7 run. Honestly.
Lau has a pop-up. Nothing comes of the stolen base. It's on to the 9th. All Mets on opening day. And Peacock. To the 9th in an 11-5 lead for the home side on opening day. Veteran right-hander Luis Garcia will try to put the finishing touches on this one. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Ryan O'Hearn, who has homered today. A successful Pirates debut. O'Hearn, Triolo, and Horwitz here in the 9th inning. Last chance for Pittsburgh. Well, the beauty of a 162-game schedule played in the course of 180 days is, of course, go get them tomorrow.
That's right. I had an old manager named Clint Hurdle, who obviously all are familiar with him. His big thing was shower well, boys. Shower well. When things would not go well, you showered well. Move on.
Big coming out party for Carson Bench. And a base hit into right field for Ryan O'Hearn. How about this one for Bench? This one out of the category of the last switch hitter to win AL MVP being Vita Blue. A tricky one for you, Al. The last Mets rookie to reach base safely in a major league debut, Steven Matz.
Oh. I heard Vita Blue.
3 times to reach base safely.
Wow.
Right, the pitcher is the answer to those questions. It kind of catches you off guard. First ball swinging is Jared Triolo with a gapper into right center field. O'Hearn into third. Second and third with nobody out to start the 9th for the Pirates.
Well, if the Pirates are going to climb back in this game, this is exactly what they got to do. Take advantage of any mistakes. As you see this one sitting over the heart of the plate. Triolo not trying to do too much with this thing. Splits the gap. They got a little bit to work with here.
Either you guys a believer in, you know, even in a loss, ending with a couple of runs to get a worse taste out of your mouth? Or is it L and L?
An L's an L.
Okay.
I don't know. It depends on who's up.
Yeah.
I don't think that goes across the board. Certainly Spencer Horwitz would like to finish the day with a knock, as he's 0 for 3 right now.
Adam, when you're the last end out of the bullpen, 9th inning, 6-run game, there are a lot of guys that feel like those are hard outings.
Yeah, they can be, because you got the big lead here, so it's easy to let your guard down. But your job is to keep Devin Williams out of this ball game, so you got to keep that in the back of your mind and kind of treat it the same, even with the big lead.
Ball and 2 strikes to count to Spencer Horwitz. Luis Garcia, 39-year-old veteran in his 14th big league campaign. Split time last year between the Nationals and Angels. And looking to do just that. Finish business for the Mets. Freddie Peralta for 5, Tobias Myers for 3, the Milwaukee connection. And the Mets are hoping that it's Garcia to the finish line. Got him. Good changeup.
But the string, you mentioned that Garcia's got to the big leagues with the Phillies in 2013. There's a nice changeup. Good visual of that.
Oh, great movement on that ball, right? Well, I'd be remiss to mention, guys, as we talked early in the game about the patches that, in honor of Davey Johnson, that the Mets were wearing. The Pirates, when opening day at home comes next Friday, they're going to be honoring the life and legacy with the patch of their own of Bill Mazeroski. So for anybody that's interested out there, obviously the passing of Bill was hit hard in the baseball community, and especially in Pittsburgh. And Pirates will be on the road, as you see right there, all the way from next Wednesday, day off Thursday, and then the home opener on Friday in Pittsburgh.
Nothing in one. The count to Nick Gonzalez. That's out to right. Bench on the move. It's going to split he and Robert. That's going to drive in a pair. O'Hearn and Triolo score. A 2-run double for Nick Gonzalez, who's got a multiple hit opening day line, and it's an 11-7 ball game.
Well, as Adam mentioned, the last thing you want in a game like this is to get your closer in there, and it looks to me that Mets bullpen is starting to move around a little bit. Devin Williams looks to be getting ready out there, as you see.
Adam, is this a stall tactic to get Williams up?
A little bit. He also needs to reset in general. But yeah, a little bit. Give him a little time. They're probably one more hit away from having to go to him. So there's not a whole lot more leash they're going to go with here with Garcia. But yeah, just give him a second there.
All right, so now it's Henry Davis, who has an RBI double on his line today. He was hot at the end of spring training. Saw home plate umpire Adrian Johnson pop out and take time there. Usually that means pitch clock violation. No such infraction occurred. And here we go to Davis with ball one.
This is the catcher challenge of the ball call.
And we have a catcher challenge on that pitch. ABS challenge system powered by T-Mobile, and it was a strike.
The Mets still have 2 challenges.
Call overturned. 0-1. The count to Henry Davis. Those things happen in the blink of an eye. Again, you got 2 seconds to issue that challenge. No help from anybody in the dugout. Nobody in the video room can give you a sign. There's just not time for it. And if the catcher or hitter or pitcher feels like they want to use that challenge, it's got to be done immediately. Oh-2 to Davis. A swing and a high fly ball into left field. And Juan Soto's there, meaning the Pirates are down to their final out on this opening day. Well, we said it early in the telecast. The Mets opening day, best record in the sport in openers. And they're an out away from making it even better. O'Neill Cruz, the last line of resistance for the visiting Pirates today.
I thought we were going to see another challenge right there. Can't take him with you, right?
Yeah, go for it.
One ball and 1 strike to O'Neill Cruz. To 1-2.
Well, you got 2 fish right there. You throw it again?
Good chance this is another split right here.
41,000 plus at Citi Field this afternoon on opening day. treated to a big offensive shootout. The 1-2. Still the ball and 2 strikes to O'Neal Cruz. Garcia's next offering is swung on and missed, and that'll wrap it up today. In a little over 3 hours, Carson Bench, the rookie kid, a big part of the storyline in a New York Mets opening day victory at home.
Yeah, just relentless offense up and down the lineup and throughout the entire game from this Mets team. We saw him send 10 guys to the plate in the first.